All right. Assalamu alaikum. Peace and blessings, everyone. I want to start off by saying, as my good brother always says, we are recording this. So if you got someone looking for you, you might not want to be on camera. But we will be recording this. It can be found on our Mash.Taqwa YouTube channel. So if you have not subscribed, please do. I am Dr. Aisha Elamine, and I am honored to facilitate today's Talem. I am part of a committee who does Taleems for Mash.Taqwa. And so on behalf of our resident Imam Tariq Elamine, myself, Dr. Gloria Bashir, Dr. Lionel Allen, and Sister Rashida Fitzpatrick, we welcome you to the Taleem. If you have other topics that you want to hear about, please feel free to reach out to any of us. This is a discussion amongst family and friends, and hopefully we'll learn some great things, because we are honored today to welcome our dear sister Maryam Khalilah. She's going to talk about her book. And I'm going to be putting a link of the book in the chat. So if you have not purchased it already, I highly encourage that you do. The title of the book is Ladies, Let's Talk Nutrition. And I also want to congratulate our dear sister Maryam, because she'll be starting her master's program at UIC, in the nutrition program, the Master's of Nutrition program. And so I'm really excited to also welcome her into that space. And so we are honored to have you. And so I'm just going to kind of turn the mic over to you, and I'll ask if you and it looks like folks are already doing that, but if you are not talking, if you can mute yourself, even if we think we in no background, and we really do hear your background, and we'll have an opportunity. If you want to ask questions, you can feel free to put it in the chat. You can raise your hand. If you have an anonymous one, you can also just hit us up individually. Either way that you feel comfortable, we want you to engage, ask the questions that you want to ask, and get the information so that you live the best life that you can. And so, Sister Maryam, please do take the mic, and thank you for joining us today.
Yes, assalamu alaikum. Thank you. Thank you all so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And yes, my new nutrition book, I'm getting a lot of feedback, like especially from the brothers. Like, okay, so your book says ladies. Like, yeah, you can get it for your wife. It's perfectly fine. Get it for your sisters, for your moms.
That's
it
right.
Doesn't mean it's nothing in there for the brothers, but it does focus a lot on women's health, though. So absolutely, praise be to Allah, because it's definitely, I feel like it's a part of my divine purpose. One of the things, which inshallah is to help break the cycle of disease that runs rampant amongst our communities. So with all of that being said, I will share my screen so we can get started with the slideshow. And I'll do a little introduction of myself. I don't like to talk a lot about myself. I like to just dive right into it. So we'll talk about me just a little bit, but not a whole lot. But let me share my screen. This one, okay, good. And here, and then present. Move this over to present. Cool. Okay, everybody can see that?
Yep, we got you.
Perfect. Okay, so my book on Ladies, Let's Talk Nutrition really deals with the mind, body, and soul. I feel like you cannot start dealing with the body if you don't first deal with the mind, because it all starts with a mindset. You have to know who you are. You have to know that you have the power, you have the will, and you have to convince yourself that you deserve to live a healthier lifestyle. None of us are destined to be in pain. So you have the power because you are the power. We make the choices every single day on what we will what we will manifest into our daily lives, our daily activities. So I want us to keep that in mind from here on out as you begin to think about when it's time for me to make that choice about the food that's going on my plate, the food that's going to go into my body, the spiritual food that's going to feed my mind, you make the choices on what you're going to receive. Always understand that and receive that. At the end of the day, nobody has the power over you except Allah, of course, without you giving them permission to have that power over you. So when we say, oh, I gave in to eating that ice cream, and I know I didn't need it, or I gave into eating those cookies, or I gave into allowing someone to regurgitate, how people sometimes like to call us and spill their souls out. And it's like, I'm not a trash can. And sometimes we walk away feeling very heavy, and the other person is fine now. They're very light. Well, you have the power to turn that around. You can always tell people, not today. Or you can guide people to resources and help them with tools that can help them release in a way that they're not releasing and setting it on you, but they're actually releasing it to the source. They're releasing it to where it needs to go, which is Allah, not us. So my next slide talks a little bit about me. Again, I mean,
the next slide, it stayed on the same page.
Let me see what happened. Did it go?
No.
Now I have the next slide in front of me. I
When
want to.
that happens.
Yeah. So is it a delay?
I guess it's a delay. Well, go ahead and keep going.
I'm gonna stop screen share and then go back and see if that will work. Did it?
Yeah, you go. Yep.
Okay, perfect. So this slide is just a little bit about me. It says my sisters because I truly feel that part of my purpose in life is for Allah's women and girls. So a lot of work that He has blessed me to do really focuses on women and children. But more so when I say women and girls, we do like mentoring programs in schools to talk to teen moms, to talk to girls who've been abused. We do workshops and seminars talking to women who have been abused to help them heal from their past pain. So the model of mind, body, and soul, we truly do focus on that. And everything that we do is designed around teaching and reforming the mind, the body, and the soul. So I love what I do. I'm very passionate about it. I'm very passionate about women's health, everything that falls underneath the category of women's health and science. I also teach 8th grade science at Muhammad University, and I teach 9th grade biomedical sciences. And I help MUI students those that want to go on the medical path. Allah has helped me to help facilitate that process. Praise be to Allah. So, and I've done it too in other schools. So when I tell you I'm really passionate about serving Allah's women, I honestly really, really am. So that's just a little bit about me. And did it go to the next screen?
Yep.
Great. Okay. I actually didn't mean to put module 1 on here, but we're going to roll with it because it's not broken up into modules. However, the very first step is always awareness. So even in my book, the very first thing you open up to is going to talk a little bit about awareness. How do you become aware of what's happening in your body? The reason why that's really important is because Westernized medicine, when you go to the doctor, we're grouped into categories. Either your gender, your ethnicity, your age. So this amount of people is known to be diagnosed with diabetes. So they're automatically group you in with these people. And even in pulling up numbers, and this is how you fall into the category of being diabetic or diabetic. And the way they came up with that literally was with a group of people looking at the range of their A1C levels or, their sugar glucose levels. And according to the group, if you functioned normally or healthy wise, if you're under, let's say, 100 glucose level, then they'll say, okay, you're okay. Well, of course, those who are in the medical field can bear witness to that they've seen people function fine whose numbers have been over 100. Not to say that's a good thing to have your numbers over 100. However, understand that you're an individual and you want to be treated as such. When you go to the doctor's office, whatever you may be suffering from or maybe not suffering from, you want to make sure that you are treated as an individual. So to be aware of your body, I'll give you myself as an example. My normal blood pressure is usually like 98, never more than like 108, 109. Over like 68 would be my blood pressure. Well, one day I went into the hospital and my blood pressure was what's considered to be the norm in this country. And it was like 127 over something. Well, at that point, I had blood clots. But in the emergency room, they kept trying to convince me I was fine. And I was telling them, no, I'm not. This is not a normal blood pressure for me. Well, being my own advocate led the doctors to run more tests where they actually found that I had blood clots, and it amazed them. But this is why it's so important to be aware of your own body, your own health conditions, what runs in your family, but also understand because a mother or a father has it does not mean you're destined to. So again, you have the choice to be able to change what that reality may look like, because a lot of diseases we suffer from is more so due to habit versus genetics. So what is nutrition? Nutrition is a biochemical and a physiological process. Now, this is just a whole lot of big language for what's going on in your body on a cellular level. The nutritional factor is going to be organisms that pretty much supports life for us. So it's what's going to fuel me to have energy. So you don't want to eat that which robs you of energy. That's the key. At the end of the day, there's no such thing as a no carbs diet. Absolutely no such thing. Everything you put on your plate is going to have some carbs in it. If it's grown from this planet, if it feeds off this planet, it's going to have some carbohydrates in it. And we need carbohydrates. That's our energy source. So even understanding the language and how the body works, you don't have to become a doctor or a scientist at it, but just to be knowledgeable can help you make the right choices for your particular gender, age, activity level, even when it comes to water intake and things of that nature. But what's going to fuel your metabolism properly for the type of person you are genetically and habitual? What are your daily activities and habits? We start off in the book with mindfulness meditation. Again, mindset is the key. It's all about mindset. When we look at our daily lives throughout the day, it's what am I carrying? A lot of us are carrying so much mental stress and don't even know it. And that mental stress can lead to disease in the body. So we want to be able to be mindful about present time, be aware of where I am in my space, be aware that I am in control of my choices, if I can handle it or if I can't handle it. Do I need to let this go? Should this pass by? Is it something I can handle right now? Or maybe let me just deal with this tomorrow. Everything does not have to be dealt with right now. So that's being mindful. That's feeding the proper nutrition to your brain that your mind needs. Now we're talking about more so energy level that the mind needs so that it does not begin to break down. So mindfulness means paying attention in a particular way, on purpose, in the present moment, and non-judgmentally. That's key. We are so quick to judge ourselves. Let it go. Stop judging yourself. We all make mistakes. This is just who we are. It's how we're created. We're going to make a mistake. You learn from experience. So be able to just release it, let it go. Validate that it happened. I made this decision. Be responsible for the decisions that you make. Same thing we tell our children. We need to do the exact same thing. Be responsible for the decisions that you make in life. Validate it. Okay, this happened. Let me deal with it and let me keep moving. Stop holding on to everything that happens in life. It's not necessary. Once it becomes the past, you can't change it. The only thing you can do is learn from it. Correct what may happen in the future, but keep it moving. Stop torturing yourself. When we hold on to things that we cannot change, you're literally torturing yourself. You have no control over that at this point. Let it go. Stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about handling everything. Be able to just breathe, exhale. And when you exhale, say goodbye. Goodbye to whatever the unwanted energy is. You're releasing it. You're letting it go. This also helps when you're eating a nutritional meal and the body has to communicate within to be able to deliver those nutrients to the part of the body that needs it. If the mind is confused, the entire systems, all the systems of the body can become confused as well. So we want to be able to release the unnecessary stress, because the good stress is good. It's good for the body. The heart needs a little bit of stress, to exercise that muscle, but we don't want the type of stress where you feel weighed down, you have headaches, now you're questioning, should I do this or that in a depressive type way? We don't want that type of energy in our lives, so we want to love on ourselves. And give yourself permission to love on yourself. Sometimes you just have to look in the mirror and say, I love you. And I deserve the love that I'm giving, and I deserve the love that I'm receiving. When we get into that space, you'll see how you'll enjoy the physical food that you eat, because now you can actually benefit from it. And don't be apologetic. When you forgive yourself, don't go or you love on yourself, don't feel like you have to apologize to somebody else who may feel left out from that process. You deserve to have a moment for you. Especially being women, we give to everybody else. You may be given to a spouse, you may be given to your children, you may be given to your parents, to your siblings, to your boss, to the workplace. It's give, give, give. Do not feel guilty when it's your time to receive and give to yourself so you can benefit and function on a higher level, function on that level that Allah desired and desires for us to function on. And make sure this goes. Did it go to the next page?
Yep, you rolling.
Okay. Yeah. Praise be to Allah. Learn to relax and release the world. This is like my motto. I'm so serious. I mean, there are some times where people are like, oh, you in that mode again? Yes, I am. I am relaxed. I am enjoying my space and I am releasing the world. Right now, nobody else exists but me because I need to refuel and I don't feel guilty about it. And I understand the different steps that you can take that helps regenerate the body, like smiling. We need to smile more because you're releasing neurotransmitters in the brain that's going to fight off stress. We need that. So smile more. Even sometimes, and this may sound weird, but sometimes when you feel like you're entering into an angry state, someone has made you upset, try to smile in that process to help you actually deal with that. Not, you're not making mockery, you're not laughing at the situation, you're not dismissing it, but you're finding different tools to help you actually deal with it, because anger is a natural emotion. It's natural. To become enraged is unnatural. Now you start breaking down cells in the body. So even to understand emotions and why we have them and how you can control them can help the body heal through the process, and also can be preventative in how the body will respond to whatever the current circumstances may be. And be comfortable in your skin. Be comfortable who you are. Confidence rewards the brain. You ever see somebody walking and they're walking confident, and you like, man, I want to walk like him, or I want to walk like her. That person knows who they are. That person believes in themselves. That's a reward system walking. Their body is really happy because they're being rewarded for existing. So when we walk around doing just the opposite is when you see people and you're like, oh, I want to help that baby. What's wrong with her? What is she having a bad day? We can look at each other and tell when we're having a bad day. And it's nothing wrong with extending your hand and saying, you know what, I learned something that helped me. Maybe it can help you too. And that way, when we do that, we create now an environment, a healthy environment where everybody's thriving. That's the best environment to be in. You don't want to be the only one thriving in the environment. Blessings are meant to be shared. When you share them, they grow. Now the blessing is reaching its fullest potential. When you house it, it can become a curse because you're smothering it. And the response of that may be detrimental for you because it wasn't just meant for you. It was meant for all. So sharing is caring, as they say. And now let's get into some food. So there's a couple of things that we're going to go over before we go into Q&A. And one of them is antioxidants. A lot of people hear these words and it's like, oh my God, they have free radicals. They produce free radicals in the body. Yes, we want free radicals because we need to be able to fight off the pathogens in the body, which is unwanted substances that pretty much is going to create disease in the body. A lot of people were talking about antioxidants as it relates to cancer. Well, it's not just that those antioxidants is going to help fight cancer, but it also helps to fight any type of bacteria or viruses that are present in the body and other pathogens that will create disease. So, of course, we talk about cancer a lot because of the numbers leading in this country of people being diagnosed with cancer, but cancer is not top in this country. Heart disease is. And then when we talk about cancer, of course, we talk about breast cancer or prostate cancer, when the number one cancer people die from is actually colon cancer. So to just be able to make yourself aware so that you now create the diet that's needed for you. And you don't have to know about every type of cancer and all, just to know that that's something I do not desire to have in my body. I don't desire for cancer to express itself. So let me create the habits of exercise and diet that's going to complement my body now saying, we don't want cancer, we don't want disease, we don't want viruses and bacteria to run rampant in the body. So we got berries. Berries, absolutely phenomenal. Cranberries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. It doesn't matter. Berries, 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 berries. Gives you the, they contain the antioxidants that you need. And depending upon what type of berry will really give you another list of health benefits that that particular berry may have. In all of these that's on the screen or any food that's on your plate, the key is to eat the food in season. All foods are not meant to eat all year around. So get yourself accustomed with knowing what is the best foods to eat in this season in this country. That's another thing, because this country it produces in certain areas of the country, certain fruits and vegetables that have a season to them that may not complement the season of Europe or Africa, or even in the islands. So you want to make sure that you're eating foods that grow in that season in this country, if this is the country that you reside in. Also, side note, it's also good to have honey that is locally produced, because that honey that is created by the bees is going to be created with the allergens that we actually need to help fight help fight for those people who have allergies. So it's best to always get local honey, and that will help the person like asthma and things like that, people who have allergies, that's right there in that local area. Also, Mangoes. Mangoes are really good in supporting healthy gut. So not just antioxidants now. Now we're dealing with a healthy gut. Mangoes also carry both types of fiber. So when people talk about both types of fiber, you're talking about fiber that either helps move food through the intestines, or it's going to slow it down. So it's either going to speed it up or slow it down. Well, mangoes have the type of fiber that does both, which is absolutely amazing. We need both. So sometimes moving food too fast through the gut can create a bloated environment. So mangoes is a fruit that balances out the process of fiber moving through our digestive system. It also helps to lower cholesterol. It aids in weight loss. It helps us, we have hair and skin benefits with it, ladies. So mangoes, eat more mangoes. And they are in season right now. Dark chocolate. I always add dark chocolate because I get a lot of questions about cycles and having the cramping and things of that nature, and craving chocolate when either you're about to come on your cycle or you've just ended your cycle. Well, the reason for that being is it's not the milk chocolate that you're craving. The body will crave what it's used to receiving, but it's really not the milk chocolate that it's craving. It's the dark chocolate, because there's no sugar in that dark chocolate. And that dark chocolate is high in iron. The body is already coded to do its preventative methods. So the body knows you're getting ready to go through a time frame in the month where you're getting ready to lose iron. So the body is going to crave iron a week or so prior to the cycle coming, because it's beefing itself up. It's now getting more iron into the system because it knows it's about to lose it. But if we don't know that, we'll go to sources that's not really giving us iron, that's giving us more sugar than iron, which hurts the reproductive system. So just knowing that when you crave that sugar, and I know people say that dark chocolate, or you crave chocolate, dark chocolate is a little bitter, but it is better for you. And the dark chocolate is not just dealing with iron, but we're talking about magnesium and zinc. So now we're dealing with gut health again. We're dealing with bone health, with which women really, really need. Because once we turn 40, 45, every day our bones grow. It creates new bone cells. And every day it breaks down bone cells. Well, when we turn in that 40, 45-ish, and now we become that premenopausal zone, what happens is the bones is still breaking down as fast as it was in our teenage years, in our 20s, in our 30s, but it's not rebuilding as fast as it was. So it's very important that we get magnesium in our diet, calcium, vitamin D. And people in North America, it has been proven, especially in the United States of America, we lead in being vitamin D deficient. We need vitamin D. So that's just a little tip for us ladies, because we need it. Vitamin D, calcium, magnesium, we need it all. And then papayas. Papayas are excellent for antioxidants as well. Papayas also reduce the risk factor of heart disease, which women lead in the numbers. It helps with diabetes, cancer, aids in digestion. It improves our blood glucose levels, which is our sugar levels. In lowering blood pressure, when you start looking at diabetes and blood pressure and kidney issues, it actually all goes together. One definitely leads to the other. So diabetics usually, if they're not taking care of their diabetes, can fall victim to kidney disease, heart disease, because the body now is going to start breaking down. The sugar, when it runs through our veins, it burns. The pathway it flows through, it burns on its way. So we absolutely need insulin. And that's why diabetics are more at risk for developing other diseases once you become a diabetic. But the key is just to control it, and you absolutely can heal it. You can cure it. You absolutely can cure it. And papayas also help in improving wound healing. That's important too, especially for diabetics, because once you become a diabetic, the process of healing slows down, and you can create diabetic sores and things of that nature. But for all of us, wound healing is good. Don't just think about if I cut myself on a hand or externally. Think about your internal wounds as well, because we do scar internally like we scar externally when you cut your hand. So women who've ever had like any type of surgery, actually anybody, it's not just women, anybody who's had any type of surgery and you see that you have a scar on the outside, on the other side of that scar is scar tissue. And according to your diet, if you eat too many foods that creates an inflamed environment, that scar tissue will become very detrimental to the body, where now you can create buildup of toxins around the scar tissue internally. So when I say food, they've already proven disease enters the body through the mouth. Food is extremely, extremely, extremely important. So we must be mindful of what we're putting in our mouths. Also, anti-inflammatory foods. This is something else that's very key for us, because these foods provide plant chemicals, which is called phytochemicals, antioxidants, and fiber that prevent cellular stress. We don't need no excess stress in this body. It inhibits inflammatory signals caused by the immune system. It promotes healthy gut microbiota. Now that's very important. This healthy gut, we need bacteria, healthy bacteria in our gut to help digest our food properly. And anti-inflammatories can help slow down digestion to prevent surges in blood glucose. When you digest your food too quickly, your sugar levels can shoot up. We don't want any of that stuff. This quote is from Harvard University, their medical school. And here are some anti-inflammatory foods and spices to kind of incorporate into your daily, not weekly, but daily food sources. So we have salmon, of course, which also has omega-3 fatty acids, which is excellent for your brain. Your brain loves omega-3 fatty acids. We have ginger, turmeric, garlic. Start using this stuff every day. Olive oil, tomatoes. You cannot overdose or eat too much of any of this that is on the screen. Turmeric also helps with radiation. So it helps fight radiation, and everything that we're using, phones, computers, watching TV, radiation is everywhere now. So incorporate that turmeric, even if you a person that you can do a turmeric tea, or you want to put turmeric on your food, you want to take turmeric supplements, however you have to do it, incorporate turmeric into your diet. Okay. Garlic also purifies the blood. Ginger has a long list of health benefits. So everything on here, you definitely can benefit from incorporating into your diet every single day. Okay. Now, this is just a page on keeping in touch with us, how you can opt in for our text messages and all that kind of stuff. But most importantly, I'm going to stop sharing my screen for a moment because I want to open up for Q&A. I'm big on like discussions, answering questions, because I want to make sure that what I'm saying that you're receiving and, I'm making sense for you. And then, I may not have covered something that you might have a question about. So if I have the answer, I give it to you. If not, I tell you, I go research it, and I honestly will, because I don't believe in lying to people. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you I don't know. So.
Well, I see we have first of all, that was so much great information. I have lots of great questions. I'm gonna allow some of the folks that are online and I'll spruce minds in. So Dr. Gloria Bashir has her hand raised. So please, Dr. Gloria, please go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum. What a great presentation. Very, very informative. My husband and I are listening together, and he actually has a question for you. So I raised my hand for him.
Praise be to Allah. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so much for this presentation. It is one that's vitally needed. My question is it possible to get all of the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients you need without supplementation?
In the United States of America, no. because of the way that they're growing the foods. Everything is compromised now. The soil is not the way it used to be. Even organic foods, the soil is not the way it used to be. So even, I'll give you an example why people are becoming so sensitive to gluten. That used to be unheard of. Well, they have the way, it's the process that they grow the wheat now. They've rushed the process that now the gluten that's being produced in the wheat, our bodies are having a reaction to it because our bodies are not used to something being grown in at a fast pace. So unfortunately, we do need supplements, but we don't need a whole lot of pills though. So there are a lot of supplements that you can get in a liquid, which the body loves much better anyway. It doesn't have to be stressed out with trying to break down a compounded pill, or even the vegetable capsules is okay, but nobody wants to pop a whole lot of pills. Now you feel like you're being medicated. So just getting like a liquid, and I would definitely say research the companies that they use, they don't use alcohol in the process of changing into a liquid in the diffusion process. I don't know why this country does that. It unnerves me because you don't have to use alcohol, but they do. And the type of alcohol is ethanol and the percentage of it is equal to vodka. So it's like, just look, they do have these supplements out there that are liquefied that do not use alcohol in them. They're alcohol free. They have to because they have to make them for children. So they do have them out there. And there are a couple of supplements you may not be able to find in a liquid that's usually hard to find, which is usually calcium, magnesium, vitamin D3 you can, but calcium, magnesium, supplements like that are usually not in a liquid form. So you want to get that in a vegetable capsule and you should be just fine with that. That should be good.
Thank you. Do you have a recommendation
for the companies?
For a vitamin supplement.
For male or female? So everybody needs vitamin D, okay? Everybody in this country needs vitamin D. But depending upon the person's gender and age determines what type of supplements you actually need. So when you're looking at a person's diet, like, is the person a healthy eater? Like they pretty much get their vegetables in and, they're pretty much overall a healthy eater. That's something to look at. But it's also good to go to the doctor and just ask the doctor to pull your panel and you'll be able to see what you're deficient in, and that'll tell you what supplements you actually need.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
So just to bounce off of that question, is there, I heard you say liquid is good. What is the, like, is there a scaling, gummies, liquid, gel caps, regular, like what's the combination that works the best?
So, I mean, I know people like gummies because they like to chew on the gummies. I get it. You got to be careful though, because you got to watch that gelatin. It has to state that it's vegetable gelatin, otherwise it's pork. So the gummies, you got to really be careful with because they'll slide pork in there real easy. The compounded pills are really no good. Like I've literally seen in my schooling people's colons with the pills in the walls of the colon because we don't really break down that heavy compounded pill. So you want to look for something like a vegetable capsule. That's fine. We'll liquefy that. It's cool. Top of the list is always liquid. But liquids, or actually any kind of supplement you want to take with food though. The liquid you definitely want to take with food, and the reason being is because we digest liquid differently. So the liquid, if you just want to do a liquid supplement, let's say you put it in some orange juice and you drink the orange juice, but you don't eat anything. Well, the body now is digesting the liquid. It's going to move it through real fast. You don't want your vitamins to move through that fast. So if you eat a little something first, now the body is in a slower digestion mode, then take the liquid, you good. Your vitamins will be absorbed properly and delivered throughout the body properly. So capsules, I still would say, because it could be the stomach could be a little delicate. You want to take with foods, but that compounded pill is no good. It's no good.
That's really helpful. And I'm gonna hog the conversation a bit, so feel free to raise your hands or write in the chat. You did say there's no such thing as like no carb. Can you talk to me a little bit about like the low carb and your what is that doing, and a follow-up? Well, I'll let you do that.
Okay. So carbohydrates, of course, is what the body uses for fuel. So anything grown from the planet, because of the sun, is going to have carbohydrates in it. That's what we in turn eat and we feed off of. What you want to watch is now you have these complex carbs, your potatoes. You want to be very careful with, because too much carbs can add to weight gain. Our bodies when we have too much of something, it likes to store it as fat. So that's what we kind of want to stay away from. Too much of the carbs in the body. Even a person who might say, well, I juice a lot, so I eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Keep in mind, when you juice some apple juice, you done put about 10, 15 apples in there for that juice. And if you drinking that many, that's a lot of sugar. It's a lot of fiber, and you got carbs in there, and the body is going to store a lot of that as fat. So even when you think you're getting a lot of healthy carbs in, you still got to be careful of how much you're getting in. Because again, anything that's an excessive level, the body's going to store it as fat. And now we have to work at getting rid of that fat, that stuff. So, and balancing out your plate. So knowing that rice is a carb, yes. But knowing what type of rice and what to do with your rice is key. Browning your rice releases a chemical that helps with digestion. It also helps fight against colon cancer. So you benefit from browning your rice. White rice is very starchy. It's a lot of bad carbs in the white rice. That's going to actually hurt the digestive system instead of helping it. But then you have rices like jasmine rice. That's good. It's very hard to brown. Don't waste your time. But jasmine rice it's a softer, long grain rice that helps the digestive system. So the key is to stay with long grain rices and cook them properly. That helps the digestive system. So knowing what category your carbs fall into is key in how you digest those carbs.
Okay, I got so much. So there's a question in the chat. What about chewable, especially for children? And when you're talking about getting in vitamins and supplements.
So, children, the only reason why I'm not in favor for chewable vitamins is because children don't even chew their food all the way. So a child is going to chew it enough just to swallow it. And now the stomach has to do the rest of the job. So, it may be a little stressful for their digestive system. Give them a liquid, put it in some juice, apple juice, orange juice. For them, that's okay. That's fine. Or they do, and I give my children actually the gummies from Whole Foods. They're all vegetarian. There's no pork in there, and they love them. So I know that like with the gummies, even if they don't chew it all the way, it's still kind of delicate on the digestive system versus the chewable vitamins, because they're still hard. And you're really dependent upon the enzymes in the saliva to break it down. Before the children not going to chew it that much for all of that. So I would definitely say, the gummies cool as long as they're, of course, vegetarian, and then a liquid is cool for children.
Man, this wisdom and knowledge is just flowing. I'm loving it. Alhamdulillah. We have Mustafa who asks, what are your thoughts about taking colonial silver, and can you give an example of compound supplement?
So I'm still learning about the colonial silver and all of those things, because of course they're saying that, which we do, we have the different elements in our bodies. I'm just trying to now learn about, is it necessary? Is it necessary for us to actually have to ingest it. I'm always very questionable about anything, especially this country, really puts in the forefront. Whatever they push is usually not good for you. So even like for the vegetarian, and I hate to say this because I'm sure some people on here is going to be like, you're lying. But it's the mushroom. We actually don't digest it. I did an extensive research on that because I was like, it's mushrooms and everything. Why? Why is this country pushing mushrooms like this? So there's a protein in the lining of the mushroom called chitin. It's the same protein that's found in insects, where the human being's digestive system is not meant to digest insects. So we don't even get to the nutritional value of the mushroom. When you eat it, you're not going to reach it. So what happens is it stresses the digestive system. So the key is really to design your food on your plate with substances that's not going to stress your digestive system. Now, with that being said, how do you get to the nutritional value of mushrooms? You can always make a vegetable broth though. So you actually can boil it, and as it can be one of the components of your vegetable broth that you use for your rice, to cook your rice in, or if you're making a vegetable soup or what have you. And it will, the heat from that will extract the nutrients. It'll pull it out. So now it's in your broth, and now your digestive system isn't stressed out trying to get to it in the mushroom. And then also keep in mind, everything grown from this planet is not meant for human consumption. There are other animals and insects on this planet that have to benefit from food sources that's grown. So learning what's for the human being digestive system versus what's for an animal that has multiple stomachs. We only have one. So just understanding the acids in our stomach and what it breaks down and what it doesn't. So.
Sister Janice said, this is phenomenal information. I am in complete agreement with that. Another question. So when you had a slide that talked about antioxidants, and it was like garlic and cinnamon and like turmeric. What are some, and you said, and I heard you stress every day. So can you give some pointers on what are ways to incorporate these things in the daily diet?
Absolutely. So like with that, and those were the anti-inflammatories.
Yes.
So to kind of keep the system, the inflammation down in the body, especially for people who have arthritis and things of that nature, you can make your salmon incorporate the garlic and the salmon. Or if you want to eat a different type of fish, or if you're a meat eater, you incorporate those seasonings, those spices, natural spices, not the garlic powder. It's nothing wrong with using garlic powder, but it's so much better and flavorful to use the fresh garlic. So your garlic and your onions, you're now learning how to prepare your food where it's tastefully, naturally, right? So it's like, yes, I can actually enjoy this. You could put turmeric in your rice. That's how you turn it yellow. That's your yellow rice right there. So turmeric can be put in there. You can use turmeric as a tea. You can use turmeric as a spice. I put turmeric on some of my vegetables. Depending upon what vegetables I'm making, I'll put turmeric on my vegetables. So incorporating it that way, really just doing a little research and experimentation on what you like, how you like for your food to be made, incorporating these fresh spices, and even with your gingers. There's certain, learn how to make Indian food, learn how to use their herbs and spices. It belongs to all of us. I don't like to, I know it's easy to say Indian food, but I feel like all cultures belong to us anyway. So just learning how to use spices and herbs from that part of the world, right? So you learn how to incorporate the ginger, or that's another one that's good as a tea. If you want to do a cleanse, the lemon, ginger, honey cleanses, so learning how your palate, your taste buds, what do you like? And in some cases, retraining them, because I'm retraining mine for some stuff. Like, I don't really like berries. I never have. And I just learned how to do like this blueberry, banana, what was a blueberry banana yogurt smoothie, and it was great. So I was like, oh, I can do this and get my berries. So you learn what works for you, experiment and enjoy it. So it's a process, it's a rewarding process, because you like, I'm doing this for me. And if you have a family, you're like, I'm doing this for my family. Because remember, the key is to break the cycle of disease. So we got to pass on healthy habits to our babies.
Oh, absolutely. Sister Maryam, can you talk to us a little bit about why you've incorporated both kind of this mindfulness and and connected it to nutrition, right? Oftentimes in spaces we see these things as very separate, and you're intentional about making sure they're connected. Can you talk a little bit about that? And also after that, CMOS is a question that folks have as well.
Okay, so the mindfulness with nutrition is to understand that nutrition is on every level, not just physically what I put in my body, but spiritually, what am I feeding my soul? So nutrition is key for whenever you see the word nutrition, think about survival. This is determining how I survive, how I live as a person. So it's key to restructure the mind, because that is what makes the choices. That's what's attached to my willpower. So if I feel like, you know what, I think I need to lose maybe 5-10 pounds. I need to lose a couple of pounds. Okay. Well, in order to reach that goal, you first have to have the mindset that I'm going to do this. And you have to have the mindset of how to release stress, because stress is either going to keep on that weight, or it's going to give you more weight, or when you get rid of it, it'll come right back. So I always say, like, if I need to get rid of some weight, that's how I'm going to say it. I need to get rid, not lose, because when I tell my mind lose, it might think I need to go find it again. And I'm not trying to find that 5 pounds again. So I need to get rid of that 5 pounds. We don't need that back. So language is key. So I think of it on that way too, on that level as well. And then understanding that if I can quiet down my mind, I can make some right decisions. When I got too much going on and there's so much confusion and chaos, and there's some stuff, you know how you do it. It's like, oh, just go ahead, just do that. Just do, because you're frustrated. So you have to be able to get rid of that, so that you can make the right choices and pattern your mind to what the right choices are. So even in that moment that you're frustrated, you've already trained your mind how to respond being frustrated. You still gonna eat the right food. You're not gonna give into late at night watching your favorite show and eating that ice cream or that cake. And you know you're not about to get up and burn it off. You're gonna go to sleep. So now that fat, because that's what your body's gonna store it as, it's just sitting there, and your digestive system needs to rest. The mind needs to rest. The longest nerve in the body is the vagus nerve, and it's connected from the brain all the way through the digestive system. It deals with the heart. It also deals with the lungs. So just understanding, if I can master how this vagus nerve responds, I can master the response systems of my body. So, but it starts right there in the mind, being able to relax, to rest, get that flow going, if it's meditation music for you, calming music, whatever it takes. And don't go to sleep at night with that day's problems. It's over with now. Don't go to sleep at night with tomorrow's problems. You ain't got there yet. So be able to be mindful of the moment. That's so key. And it also helps you not feel overwhelmed, because you're able now to be able to put things in categories by order of priority. I can't deal with that right now. That's supposed to happen Friday. Today is Sunday. I can help plan it out. Yes, but I don't have to take the weight of Friday and it's only Sunday. So, you know, those type of tips alone are really keys to understanding why it's so important that I have to be in the moment, and in my moment, not everybody else's, because other people are going to try to pull you in theirs. Not their moment. Their moment is their moment. Everybody's perception is their own truth. Well, my truth is this is my moment and this is how I'm controlling my moment. So, and as mothers, we got to be able to let our children know that too. Everything's an emergency. No, it's not.
I love everything about that statement. I'm gonna just say that. So we have this hour has flown by, and I just feel so privileged to be in the community with you, listening to all of your wisdom and your responses to these questions. I want to close out. We have one more in the chat around CMOS. If you can talk a little bit about CMOS before we close out, that would be awesome.
So CMOS is another one. I'm in the process of still studying. I have learned that the different colors of CMOS has different health factors. So there's one, I think is purple, I think that's like for weight loss. But so they have different ones depending upon what your need is. So it's good to know that one type of CMOS, like the green CMOS that everybody is utilizing, is not for everything. So understanding what it is for, I'm researching it to try to see, it comes from the sea. Is it for the sea? Is it for a land animal like me? So that's the way that I research things when I look at, what's grown from the earth, what's in the water, what part of that is actually for me, or am I to eat a substance like a fish that feeds off of CMOS, and now my digestive system complements the process of how I'm supposed to receive what's in CMOS. So that's how I'm researching it right now. I have not gotten to the absolute conclusion yet. So it's still kind of, I feel like, as I say, I'm still in the experimental stages, me being the scientist that I am. So, because I took it myself. My husband laughs at me sometimes because he's like, you really do be experimenting yourself. And I'm like, well, I can't tell somebody else to do it if I don't do it. So I got to see how this go work. And a friend of mine, she did it, and she said that, she got a whole lot of energy. I didn't. The results for me wasn't the same as hers. And I was like, maybe I'm doing something right, because I wasn't suffering from low energy, but I was like, maybe my body is saying I don't need CMOS. So again, learning what your body needs is so critical, because when we do things as a group, sometimes we can hurt ourselves. Everything that's for one person, not necessarily is for you. So that's another way that I'm researching it too. If it does complement the digestive system of the human being, then now who needs it and who doesn't? So you look up the contraindications too, that they usually don't list, and be careful when you buy it, because anything that this country gets their hands on that they see a lot of people want to buy, they start making it synthetic. So you have to be careful to make sure that you have a source that you're getting it from, that it's real CMOS. So just be careful with that.
Wow. So much great information. There's 3 ways that I'm going to ask the folks that are watching live now and also will watch later to support our dear sister Maryam. One is to go out and buy her book, Ladies, Let's Talk Nutrition. There's a link in the chat for it. 2, mute yourself or write in the chat and give her appreciations. We pray that your work and your brilliant mind and you really sharing knowledge, like you said, sharing is caring with the world, will be a benefit both in this life and the hereafter. Thank you so much.